Hello, friends, and welcome to Becoming Unbound, the podcast where we discover what it means to break free and live a life unbound. Today, we have Ash Archambault on the podcast, and we are finding out how Ash embodies freedom, and we're going to be hearing a bit about her story on how she is becoming unbound. Let's dive in. Welcome, Ash. I feel like there should be a round of applause.
Hi, gorgeous Carly. Such an honor to be here on your beautiful creation. So thrilled to be here. Thanks for having me.
Yeah, this is amazing. So maybe we'll just start off. Let's talk about how we met. We met in a far off land.
The far off land of Canada. Yes. So I live in the US, and Carly and I met at a Awaken Winning event, and got to know each other a little bit that weekend. We became like really fast girlfriends, a whole little group of us, and it's been really fun to stay in touch with each other. We've been super supportive, and it's been like a really nourishing group of women that we kind of connected with in Canada and are really supporting each other in going for our dreams. It's just the best. Like, I'm so here for it.
Yeah, I feel like I have a little group of like cheerleaders. And when I say like we need a little applause there at the beginning, it's because I feel like our group that we established after that summit, that retreat, whatever you want to call it.
Yeah.
It feels like I could say anything to that group and I'm going to hear that little excited applause like coming screaming from that group that we have. Like it's wild. And I feel like that just goes to show you what it means when you meet up with and connect with aligned individuals.
Absolutely. Absolutely. And I think too, just women supporting women in that space and really allowing, like, I feel like all of us, like, we just really speak our mind in that space. We really give each other a lot of spaciousness to be who we are. And yeah, that little applause button for sure. It means everything, because so often when we're creating our life and we're trying to really go for our dreams, that it can feel very lonely because it's a very internal experience in terms of like becoming who you want to become and confronting all the things inside who you want to be. So in that way, it's very alone. So when you have that moment to share like what you're going through and what you want to be, and you get that just like that cloud of support from other women who are cheering you on, it just is like the boost that we need to have that support, right? Like that community is so important. I've realized that a lot this past year. Like to not have community it's like we're not meant to do this alone. We're like, I say, I need your light next to mine. Like we need to clarify and amplify each other's voices so that we get even greater direction in our own lives. Like we grow in relation to one another, right?
Yeah.
We found that. Like we found that in this fabulous little group. So anyway, that's how I met gorgeous Carly.
It was amazing. And you said like fast friends, but like it's been months now and we're still like daily. We've even graduated onto like Instagram meme groups. Like it's so beautiful how it comes. And I love that you described it like the little nest of support that like whatever voice comes out of you, whatever thing that you want to celebrate, knowing that your voice and that little thing that you want to share, that win is going to land in this beautiful nurturing nest, and be like supported and nourished and then checked in on as well. Like, how's this thing going? Like,
right.
It's incredible. So yeah, I feel like entrepreneurial life can feel a little lonely. Although we're connecting with people all the time, you know, we're doing this through screens a lot of the time. And yeah, one thing that came up when you were saying that was that like in the process of becoming unbound or finding a new way of life, it can be really scary. It can be like, oh gosh, what am I doing? And that you land among this wonderful soul family of women and the support group is like, it's just such a blessing.
Oh, it's everything. And I feel like as we do take steps into the unknown, like we really can't do it alone. Like we're not meant to do this in a vacuum. Like, we are meant to have community and connection with one another. And I feel like that's a massive piece in actually realizing what it is that you want to be and becoming more unbound. It's the more you like start really feeling into like what it is that serves you and going to the places that, you know, feel like are going to light you up. Like, that's when you meet the people that are going to be your soul family, that are going to be your next partner, you know, or going to be your next romantic relationship or whatever. Like, to me, like that's how we should be doing dating. We should just be like in our most embodied self and going to the places that we want to go. And then like, we'll meet the people that we're meant to meet when we get there. Yeah.
100%. I love it. So Ash, I want to know, and I'm very curious about sort of what was the moment, and you can sort of tell your story after this, whatever it means, but like, what was the first moment or the spark that kind of awakened you, or was there a moment or experience where you were like, oh, no, I can do this differently?
Oh, wow. I mean, I feel like I've been on a real spiritual journey for about 14 years. When I was 23 was when I had like a real like 180 spiritual awakening. Like, I had a whole energetic experience, a whole somatic experience with grace and with understanding the world in terms of energy, like this unseen reality. It was really kind of cuckoo. Like, I don't know many people that have had that experience. I met a handful of people, and like, it's great to connect, but it really turned everything upside down. And I kind of divorced myself from so many different parts of me that were no longer me, because I was changed. I was just like, I didn't even want the same things anymore. Like, after a month, I'm like, I don't even know. Who is that person? I don't even want to be an actress anymore. I don't even want to. And so that's when it really started. And then I've just had to go. I've had to like pick your own adventure. I just dove. I've always been that person to kind of dive into things. I've always been a creative person. My background was like musical theater, and I went to LA and I was an actress and I had an agent, and I didn't know anybody in LA, but I'm like, I'm going, you know, like, and before that I was a cancer patient, and like, when I was a kid. And so like, my parents just really encouraged me to go for my dreams. So like, you're alive, go for your dreams. So I always had that kind of energy and that kind of confidence to do that. But I was actually really not confident inside. And that kind of comes back around to this fear piece that we talked about. And for me, this spiritual journey has been more about meeting my level of willingness to like just go for it, but with an actual embodied level of self-worth and self-trust. And for me, that's the maturing process that I think we all go through when we're really on a journey of becoming unbound. And so this is like really great timing that we're talking about this, because for me, it feels like all of these pieces in my emotional maturity, my spiritual maturity, my experiential learning are like kind of weaving together now. And it's like, oh yeah, like I can go for the dreams, I can go into the unknown, and I can do that from a place of real open-heartedness and self-trust and self-worth that I didn't have when I was just kind of going for it in my early 20s.
Yeah. I feel that brings me to a point of like that you could fake it till you make it.
Mm-hmm.
You could do that.
It's a choice. Yeah.
Choice. Or you could find and choose to be your authentic self unapologetically. Mm-hmm. And then also still just keep making it, but you're not faking it. You are just, and then honoring and having grace for yourself when you do stumble and fall and all those things, and just like appreciating every piece of you while still going into the scary, abyssal unknown.
Absolutely. I think you really nailed it in terms of like, to me, it's about accepting where you're at in every now moment. Like, it's like we have to come to an acceptance of like, wait, what's really going on in my life? What are my responsibilities and my obligations? But what is my heart telling me that I need to keep trying, and to allow ourselves the grace, like you said, the grace really to be able to have time and space to explore those things, to explore them. And I say, like, it's not fake it till you make it. It's if you want to become, you have to embody. And so we have to make choices now and create feeling states now that align with who it is that we feel we really want to be. Like we can't wait for that paycheck to come in the mail in order to like take that chance, or we can't wait for, you know, our partner to give us permission to look pretty or whatever. Like we should feel confident enough to try that choice for ourselves and curious enough to try that for ourselves. And yeah, I'd be very curious because we kind of chatted before this, and you mentioned something about that you've been experiencing in your relationship, and like I think this would be a good time maybe to share that, talking about you going into this venture of using your voice and how that shifted things, just that choice.
Yeah, no, it's really interesting, and I believe it started this blockage, this thing with my voice. It was when I grew up, it was kind of like children are meant to be seen, not heard.
Yeah.
It was kind of like speak when spoken to, like be quiet at the dinner table, and then like will often be quiet somewhere else so that the adults, the important people, can do the talking and things like that, and that my voice wasn't important. And so in these moments, it's been only until recently that I've been able to like start playing with this voice. And I think one part of this podcast and creating this thing and stepping onto social media in my true embodied self is that, yeah, I'm starting to use my voice more and just saying shit. Like,
yes, baby.
And just, things will come out, whether it's to my boyfriend or to my roommates or to, you know, like my parents. I've got, you know, and maybe my parents they'd say like, oh, you've always been very opinionated. And they were always those people that I could say stuff to. And now there's these other people that I'm just saying the things. And am I just like blabbering on it, like walking around with, you know,
you're not being reckless. You're just being authentic. And
you're being authentic to be like, there was a time where I'd be like, oh, I really feel like this is something I want to ask for, or this is something that I want to kind of boldly say and request, or this is how I'm just feeling in this moment, and I'd love to express it. And before I would have been like, well, it's probably not important, or like there's maybe no time for it, or you know, maybe it's just I'll just put it off. Maybe right now isn't a great time. And then it turns out that every time I've been sharing these little nuggets, these feelings, these expressions of myself, all of a sudden something miraculous will drop in on the other side. Like I share a story with someone, and then all of a sudden someone's like, you know, the short story that you shared with me the other day, I went and I did X, Y, and Z because of that. And it's like, or you see these little actions in other people. It's like, oh, I think that's kind of what I was talking about the other day. And now it's coming into this relationship, or now it's coming into our lives, or now you're taking action on something that maybe I expressed something about in my own life. And now it's coming to fruition. So it's very cool. And I think the biggest moment, if we talk about any moment that we had the other day at a intimate concert series that I went to, was amazing. And we sang Christmas carols. I actually sang out loud. Like, I'm such a person who would just be like, I would be lip syncing the whole time. I sang out loud, and I walked away just being like, wow, this is such a pivotal moment for me. I am literally becoming unbound. I am singing Christmas carols in front of community that I know, but like strangers. And that was wild for me. So
that's amazing. Yeah, it's so true. That is the magic. That is the magic of your own aliveness. When you start making these choices and trusting and having your own self-authority, being like, you know what, I can speak up. Like, I'm not going to fall into a hole and die. And if if I speak up and my needs aren't met, okay, like, I'm a big girl. I can handle I can take care of myself. I'm not going to be crushed. You know, like really, really trusting that you can say those things and use that voice. Then great. Like, then look at the ripple effects. You know, you start to see them immediately and feel them immediately in your life. It's wild. This is my favorite game. It's my favorite adventure of getting to just open yourself, keep opening and opening yourself to yourself, and then watching the magic unfold. Like, to me, there's nothing cooler about being alive than doing that. Because we get to always be becoming. We get to always be expanding. Like, and if we didn't have that, I feel like, gosh, what a boring life this would be.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I love what you said about trust, just like knowing that you're not going to fall into a pit and die if you say this thing. And to me, that was like, because I don't know, your body's always trying to keep you safe and just
Right.
comfortable. And like, if you don't say anything, that's probably your best bet to stay comfortable. Although then you're breeding resentment, anger, and rage underneath, or you could be, or a sense of just not valuing your own voice, but trusting that like whatever I'm about to say, it's for a reason. I can trust myself and I can emotionally regulate to know that anything that comes, the consequences of me speaking out, either they're going to be profoundly amazing or whatever is served to me, I can handle. I can deal with it.
Absolutely. Absolutely. And I feel like you don't really get that depth of self-trust, of that emotional maturity until you've gone through life a little bit. Like, you just don't. That's my experience. Like, you know, even people who kind of go for it from a young age, I feel like it's not until you really, really make choices for yourself and own what happens. Like, no matter what happens, whether you fall on your face or you win or you have a success, like either way, you win because you made a choice and you owned that choice, which is better than making no choice. So many people are just like, no, I'm not going to make any choices. I'm just going to be like a flag in the wind and go whichever way the wind is blowing. And I feel like that really is what is about being unbound. Like, you're not just that flag waving in the wind. You make the choices and you own your choices, even if they're quote unquote wrong, or, you know, someone can see the writing on the wall and they think, you know, they know how your life is going to play out, or people dismiss you, or all of these things, which I've lived through so many times. And it's like, and every single time when I really choose myself, something magical always happens.
Yeah.
Always does. And it's like, oh, cool. Is it hard? Yes. Yeah, I'm not saying it's easy, because you're going to have to be confronted with all the stories that your mind wants to use to protect you, and all of the old conditioning and all the old patterning where we should stay small and we should stay pleasant and we should stay seen and not heard, whatever that is. We all have that crap within us in different variations. But it's like, but when we get confronted with it and we can face it, I feel like facing the thing is what manifests the thing. Like, if you're afraid to use your voice, then great, like, start a podcast. You know what I mean? Like, you know, because so often our biggest fear or frailty that we consider about ourselves is the crack in the pavement, is where the light can come in, is where our greatest gifts can be shared, right? We see that all the time in our lives. And so, yeah, I'm going to be coming to more of your Christmas parties because I want to hear you sing.
Yeah, no, it's so interesting that you say the crack in the pavement is where the light can come in. I love that. I'm gonna write that down, put it on my wall somewhere. It's so great. Yeah, those greatest things, those greatest fears that we are truly, I believe, meant to face and not get over, but to like look square in the face, go through the actions of what it means to scare the crap out of yourself. Like, go do that thing that whatever is sort of the opposite of being small, safe, comfortable.
Right.
And then discover that, you know, I've always, like, that's always been my thing in my spiritual journey, is it's like, oh, I have a blockage in my throat chakra. Oh, I have a blockage in my throat chakra. And it's like, okay, great. You can say that till the cows come home.
Yeah.
And then when does that end?
Yeah. And it's not enough to know, like, oh, these are my limitations. These are my limiting beliefs, or I'm just going to meditate on it, or I'm just going to heal myself. It's like, no, go and feel it and be it now. Because that's how you're going to move through it, and you can alchemize and you can integrate as quickly as you want to. To me, like, that's the trap. Like, I've been in, you know, we all go through these things where we come into such deep identification with versions of ourselves that it limits us from moving forward. And it's always about like, choose, use, move, lose. Like, just make a choice, move through the feelings that you have to, use the shit out of that experience. You can put that experience on the shelf if you need it again, and then you lose it, and then you open yourself up to another choice. You know, it's like, I don't know, but for me, like, maybe my toxic trait is I just want to keep pressing the go button all the time. Like, I just want to, like, let's keep advancing, let's keep moving. Like, I can't. But I also spend a lot of time sitting still in my life too. Like, I'm talking like 15,000 hours of like meditation and all of that. And what I've come to understand is like, that was totally valuable. But the thing that I am now experiencing in my evolution and what I'm experiencing kind of collectively is that that's not what we're being called to do as much anymore. We're being called to be. We're being called to feel. We're being called to alchemize now. We're being called to create situations for ourselves that put ourselves in places in moments where we can grow. You know, like I call it like creating feeling states for yourself. You know, like in your own home, you can practice giving a TED talk. You know what I mean? Like if you're afraid of speaking, then like great, then practice giving a TED talk in your house. Like that's not going to cost you any money, and it's going to open you to yourself in a way that you never would have had you not made that choice. But you're being something now, as opposed to waiting for a something to show up on your doorstep. Anyway, this is like getting into like the nuts and bolts. What I feel like of being unbound. It's like, no, like you're making the choice. You are your own agent. You are your own sovereign. You are the queen sitting on your own throne. Like, what do you want to choose to believe? What do you want to choose to feel? What do you want to choose to be curious about and investigate? It's you taking authority over your own set of choice and not conforming to like, oh, I can't do this because of X, Y, or Z. And oftentimes when we feel that restlessness inside, right? Like, oh God, like I just want to move forward, but I'm afraid, but And when you sit with that restlessness and when you feel it, or when you alchemize it. There's so many ways to alchemize things. You know, you can do all these different self-healing techniques. You can dance the shit out of your shit, or you can go see a therapist, like whatever it is, however you choose to feel it, like on the other side of it is freedom.
Yeah.
It's freedom. Because then you're not bound to that choice anymore. You're not bound to that thinking pattern anymore.
So how does, if you were to say like a certain set of, I mean, there is no limitation to this, but in your everyday, how do you feel like you embody this sense of freedom or living a life unbound? Like, what does it look like on the daily for you?
Yeah, it's a good question. I think on a very basic level, it's three things that I actually really focus on. And this is, I teach this a lot, and, you know, I'm a coach and I'm a speaker and a creator. And this is what I've been really guiding people to do more of. One, it's play. Play is power. Like if you aren't curious about your own sense of humor and your own sense of play is a verb of freedom and of joy. You know, if I go to the grocery store and instead of just trying to get through it as fast as I can so that I can get back in my car where it's warm and get home, and, you know, I'm always thinking ahead. If I'm just right there in the moment and I look at somebody and I give them a wink, like that completely changes that connection, that interaction, that interface with what it is that's going on in my day and who's there with me. And I feel like play so often is like, it's us reaching out in connection. And I have 2 small children, so I get to see it like firsthand, like all the time. Like I'm just like reminded, like I've been a stay-at-home mom and having to just really be in this place of play. Like they're just going to imagine what they want, and they don't want to play with something, they drop it. They say whatever they want. They aren't, concerning themselves with these kind of ramifications of social norms, like, and they're just enjoying themselves, and they're moving their bodies how they want to, and they're saying what they want to. And so that idea, and it's not about being reckless about it. It's not like, it's about coming from a place of open-heartedness. And that is what I think is the second step for me, is really honoring open-heartedness, because we can't be open to ourselves or open to feeling or open to magic, to universe, source, God, if our hearts aren't open. This is the place, this is the portal in our body where we, to me, it's the blueprint of your highest path. It's in your heart, and you have to just learn how to open it and listen to it. And so I do a lot of open-hearted practice every day, whether that's through meditation or it's choosing joy through playfulness, all different ways that I practice open-heartedness. And then the third really is surrender. And when I mean by surrender, I think the simplest way to understand like the practical mechanics of surrender is that you believe that you're already supported, and you show up knowing that you're already supported, even though you don't know how it's going to play out. So you're not attached to the result. You just say, like, this is what my heart wants. I give it all up, and I'm going to keep showing up to this place. And I feel like those three things, like if you can remind yourself to be playful, if you can open your heart and allow yourself to feel, and if you practice a deeper sense of surrender, I think you're well on your way to unbinding yourself and opening yourself in a way that is utterly magical.
Yeah, I love that. I'm like obsessed with winks. Like if I get a wink from anything, it just changes my whole day. And it's like this beautiful silent symbol of play of like, hey, don't take life so seriously.
Yeah.
Like I love that that's just such a like, and all of a sudden, yeah, you now like open the door to a playful, fun connection. Like when was the last time that you were like, I'm sure there's situations where winks are like not always
appropriate. Yeah.
Appropriate in
you
that
can
moment.
feel if someone's open or if they're not, but
yeah. But like, when was the last time you got a wink from someone and you were like, oh, I'm having a worse day now. I'm having like a worse day than I was having before. Like it opens up this little like, oh, yeah, you're right.
Yeah. It's a glitch. It's like a glitch in the matrix. It's like when we make this choice to just be playful, then it disrupts our like survival patterns, Yeah. Like that's really what it's about for me. And I'm a very creative person, so I see this idea as like we get to create our life. Like I do this all the time with my clients. Here's another like practical application. Like, how do I want to feel? Not like what do I need to do? How do I want to, accomplish things? How do I want to feel when I go to the gym? Or how do I want to feel this week? And create a word or a phrase, and then create actions around that. And then create, bring music in or, like whatever it is to help me create those feeling states for myself, because that is actually the internal condition that we're trying to tap into. Right. So like, if I want to feel invigorated this week, well, then like, what do I do that helps me feel invigorated? Okay. Well, like going for a walk helps me feel invigorated, and talking to a good friend helps me feel invigorated. And so then I make sure that I create those things in my week, because that supports my internal experiencing, that it supports my heart and my playfulness or whatever feeling state I want to feel this week, So that's actually, I think, a more important question to ask ourselves. How do I want to feel this week? And then
the follow-up of what am I going to do to make you feel that? Because I feel like a lot of us, we just sit in meditation and we're like, okay, I want to feel at peace. I want to feel calm. I want to feel playful. I want to feel whatever. And then it's kind of this like, well, and I just hope it starts. No. Well, okay, great. I'm happy that you decided that that's how you want to feel. Great. That decision is the first thing. Now, what are you doing and being to make that happen? It might not look the way you like plan it or whatever.
Exactly.
I know that like, I want to go for a walk to feel playful. And when I go there, I might like put in a little jog, because like, when was the last time I ran and felt that adrenaline or something? Like, so I feel like those actions, I feel like that's like my brain is just.
Yeah. And that's the embodiment piece that I'm talking about. That's like even more beneficial than just meditating on it. Meditating is really like, let's get clear. Let's have a clear mind. Let's have, hone our awareness and our focus and our attention. But really, like, how you want to feel comes from your heart, like what you dream about is a feeling state. So yeah. And then creating actions from that's a whole different skill, right? That's very different than sitting still and meditating or, it is. And I feel like that's what I've been really cultivating over the past 2 years, specifically for myself. I've done a lot of sacred sexuality work, which has been a big part of like creating intention and creating action as well. But yeah, I now I'm calling it like the magician and the muse. Like you get to be the magician of your own internal energy. You get to learn how you want to wield it and where you want it to go through the actions that you take. And you get to be your own muse. Like you get to be the thing that like inspires you. And so what actions do you take to inspire the shit out of yourself? Like that's what we're being called to do when we're making these choices. It's an up level of our choices. Like, right? Like the first step is like, okay, like, oh, I'm going to make a choice for myself. Woo! Like You have to get at least to that point in your own maturity to trust that I can make a choice for myself. And then it's like, how do we up-level that choice? How do we then use that and attune that to become now what we want to feel in our hearts?
Yeah.
That's, to me, this is the art. This is literally like what I feel like is so important, particularly for women to understand, because we don't often give ourselves permission to do these things. It's only like, oh, my partner's going to take me out on a date. Like, well, then I'm going to get dressed up and look pretty. It's like, no, like, why don't you get dressed up and look pretty or not pretty and wear whatever you want to and dance around your house? Like,
and feel that before the date even comes.
Exactly, because that's the relationship that you're really in. That's the deepest relationship that you're in, is the one with yourself. And it's a river that flows to every other aspect of your life. So why wouldn't you open yourself to yourself? Why wouldn't you investigate what it is that you love and what lights you up, and be curious about it? Like, again, this is my favorite game. I could talk about this all day, Carly. But yeah.
I love it. I love it. And I feel like that is in making those choices and then having those decisions going forward and those actionable steps, then it's like I envision like you were sitting around in these shackles and these handcuffs, and you were like, well, I'd like to get out of these. And like meditating, you could just sit and then maybe like, I'd like to get out of these. I'd like to get out of these. And it's like, okay, well then what are you going to do? What are you embodying to like take these shackles off? Like, or are you just going to sit there and think about how nice it would be if these were not on you, right?
Or like, wait for God to do it, or pretend that like your desire to get out of the shackles is a form of ego that needs to be destroyed. So you're just going to sit there and accept that you're in the shackles. I was in that place for a long time. That's spiritual nonsense. That's spiritual ego, guys. Like, get out of it. That's passive surrender. That's not real surrender.
Yeah, just accepting it and be like, well, maybe I could just be happy in these shackles for the rest of my, like, maybe ultimate acceptance could be there. And I think there's so much in the career choices that we make, in the partnerships that we choose, in the relationships that we get into, in the places that we choose to live. Like, all of a sudden you're like, well, maybe there's a level of acceptance here, and I just need to be like accepting of what I've chosen. It's like, whoa, no.
What? We all settle for crumbs. I call it, we all settle for the crumb cake. Like, we're like, oh, this little crumb, I'm getting, because it's a survival skill. And we've all had to be that way. It's been passed down to us. Yeah. And it's not selfish to say, you know what? No, like, I'm cool. Like, I accept the crumbs. I know how to accept the crumbs. And once you like, I know how to accept the crumbs, then you're like, I don't want the crumbs anymore. Like, I want to buy the fucking bakery. Like, you know what I mean? Like, you just get to a point within yourself where you're like, no, it's just not serving me anymore. And that's not selfish.
No,
it's not. And that's where we're talking about being unbound. It's like we're getting out of that deep survival conditioning into thrival expansion, right? Again, not selfish. And it's not, and even if it's ego-based for you for a while, like all you can focus on is like, I just want to, the desire that is driving you, cool. See where that desire takes you, because ultimately you're going to be met with your own heart and your own consequences of whatever it is that you're doing, and you're going to learn anyway. Like, so just do it. Just make the choice and do it.
Yeah.
Oh, fired up. This fires me up, Carly.
Yeah. And it's so cool that we all have these decisions. And it really brings me to like my next question of like freedom, the idea of freedom. Like, and I feel like when we say that, I feel like it became a bit of like a taboo word, like the idea of freedom. And especially in the last couple years here, and like it was like, well, what is freedom? What do you want? Like, what even, like, how do we make this tangible? And I think we're discovering that like freedom can mean play. Freedom can be freedom of time and free to make choices and like really lean into that, or free to live wherever you want to live, or whatever that means in your own life. So for you, I mean, we've unpacked this a little bit, but like, and I know for myself that freedom for me was freedom over my own schedule, and freedom over my time, and freedom to show up when I wanted to show up, and allow that my energy to be freely flowing towards my own vision,
Mm-hmm.
again, not selfishly, but to like know that that's where I wanted to have all this time and energy that I have. I want it to flow into this. And that felt like ultimate freedom to me.
Yeah.
So how does that look like for you? Like if you were to define freedom, or how does it show up for you in your life?
Yeah. I think it just kind of like success. Like everyone has a different definition of success. Everyone has a different definition of freedom. For me, I would say my level of my next level of embodiment of freedom was when I kind of started marrying myself to this idea of freedom from perfection, freedom of expression.
Sure.
That was a big turning point for me internally, where it was like, okay, this is what I'm after. Like, I'm not gonna, it was a big step in my own sovereignty, my own internal sovereignty, and my own internal permission to be like, you can express yourself. It is completely safe to express yourself. You're smart. You don't have to get it perfect. You just have to say it, and you're not there to like hurt anyone. But you're going to say what you need to say. You know, like you're not a mean person. All of these things, these fears of like, oh, people aren't going to receive you and you're not going to be blah. Like I had to really work through a lot of that. That was a big step in my own freedom. Yeah. And then I think freedom really, like in a material way for me, is really coming to the next level of embodiment of abundance. You know, I feel like my abundance of choice, abundance of finances, abundance of the environment that I'm in, talking about like accepting where you're at. And crumbs, for a long time, I've been wanting to get out of Toledo, Ohio, basically ever since I came back here from California, like 7 years ago. And we're going to be doing it. We're moving here in the spring. I'm going back to Bali. So I'm like super stoked about that. But I don't think that like my entire life, like I had to get to the point within myself that I had accepted and I had created, you know, the life that I wanted to create as much as I could here where I am planted. They say like bloom where you're planted. Yes. But if you exhaust all of the efforts in trying to bloom where you're planted and it's still not working out for you, then go somewhere else. Like go somewhere else or try something else. That's your heart calling you. And that's, I feel like, is a huge part of freedom too, is like, I am someone who has to try all the possible avenues first. And then it's like, okay, those didn't work. I really gave it my all. Now what do I do? And trusting that and is going to lead me to the next level of freedom that I'm seeking. So I'm seeking all of it, Carly. Like I know that it's possible. I've been like opening an abundance portal like every day to myself, like really trying to embody that and hold the energy and hold the space in my body. Because for me, that's how it all happens. I'm very in touch with energy and with the feminine kind of way of creating a life. And for me, that's about increasing my capacity to hold the energy of what it is that I am trying to do. And in this case, it's in the next level of freedom, right? So I have to be able to hold that energy. I have to align now with that frequency of what that feels like. So opening myself now to align with that, to me, is really some of the deepest, but also the simplest in some ways, work that you can do to be free. Like you have to embody now the freedom that you're seeking. Otherwise, it's not going to come. You have to do it now. And that's when the magic happens, right? As soon as you say yes to creating X, Y, or Z, that's when it creates ripple effects and opening yourself up to what is that your heart is really longing to experience. So yeah, does that answer your question?
And I love that you said like it's in the now choices.
Yeah, it is.
And I mean, sometimes there aren't exact moments where you're like, here, make this choice right now, and then tomorrow you're going to experience freedom. But it's like it's a little nuanced, but then all of a sudden I do feel like as soon as in your mind you've made that decision, you will see physical manifestations of that choice.
Yeah,
right in front of you. If you have made that choice and you're like, okay, I'm going to do this or this or this or whatever it's going to be, you don't really know the how of how you're going to get to that level of freedom or like unshackling yourself. Like, but once you make that choice, then everything just flows into you. And I love that you can see that and make that choice in the now.
You nailed it. It is in the now, because if you're co-creating, to me, it's about also a co-creation with God, source, spirit, energy in this world. Everything is an energetic frequency. And so that frequency can only meet you to the level that you're open to it.
Mm-hmm.
Right? So if you don't open now to what it is that you want to experience, how on earth is it going to come and meet you? And whether this first, it's like it's a mental choice, right? And then it's small actions, and then it's bigger actions, and it just builds on itself. And then soon enough, you're doing the thing that like you couldn't have imagined yourself doing a couple months ago. And it's almost like it's like a version of you was born just by saying yes to a choice, right? And it's like, even like, Ashley from a year ago would have tried to manifest a very different life actually than what's like I'm kind of coming into contact with now, because I'm a different version of me now. Mm-hmm. It's wild. It's almost like it's like asking a baby sometimes, especially when we have these dreams and these goals. It's like asking a baby in utero, being like, "Hey, like, what are you looking forward to on the outside world?" And it's like, I don't fucking know. Like, the baby just has to be born and is just trusting it's going to be born into this world, and it's going to figure it out, and it's going to see what the world is like when it gets there. But it's like the baby has everything that it needs to grow and to expand now. Wow. I feel like, yeah, like that's kind of what happens in trusting the unknown. Like you just have to keep growing and then trust that it's leading you to where you really want to feel and be free in, right?
Yeah. I love that you said that. Like basically depicted the entire like me choosing to leave my career and find a new sense of freedom. It was like I'd made the decision, and then it was a bit uncomfortable, and I just started talking to people, and people were like, well, what are you gonna do? What are you gonna do about this? And what are you gonna do about this? And I just kept like answering them with like whatever. I was like, I don't know, I'm gonna figure it out.
Exactly.
And they were like, oh well, okay, like great. But I said it with like confidence. I was like, I'm going to figure this out. And then all of a sudden things just like as if they were coming out of the sky were like, oh, here you go. Oh, here you go. Yeah.
Yes.
There's another thing.
Yes.
There you go. Yep. Oh, you needed something? Okay, here you go.
It's amazing when you're like, I got me, no matter what choice I make. Freedom magic happens.
Yeah.
It just starts to happen. But you really have to own that choice, and getting to the place where you can really own that choice. A lot of times we have to go through pain and suffering in order to get there, because I feel like we learn so much about what we want by not getting what we want, right? I say like I learned a lot about love from not being loved well. Mm-hmm. Right? Yes. So to me, like that's the darkness illuminating the light, or the yin and the yang, or the meaning of suffering. Like I feel like it informs us as to what's really important for us. So when you can feel like you're going through stuff that's really hard, it's just showing you, it's redirecting you to what's really, really important to you.
Yeah.
What your freedom looks like.
I think I had, we have to go through that. I had to work those 9-to-5 jobs. I also had to have the jobs where that wasn't the case. But having those comparisons and then allowing myself to reflect on these things, it was like, oh, okay, so I don't really want that. That's okay. That's okay. There's certain upside stuff. There's some like financial security in there, but like it's still not hitting the mark. And then like, so finding all those things and like having those tough times and challenges and stuff to like then discover like, okay, well, if those aren't what I want, let's go towards what I do want.
Bingo.
Or figure it out.
Yeah. So, I mean, I feel like so often we wish, I know for me, like I always wish like, oh, like, why can't I figure this out sooner? Like I intellectually get it, but like, why isn't like my body is like I still have things coming up and my external circumstances haven't changed? It's like because you just have to keep aligning yourself. You have to keep choosing. You have to keep choosing. And the bigger your dreams, the more capacity that you want to hold, the more you're going to have to train yourself to know this is my choice. No, this is my choice. Like you're going to you will have to do that more and more and more. Is that easy? No, it's not. And so you're going to be confronted with all the things that want to take you off this path of making the choice.
Mm-hmm.
Right?
Yeah.
Yeah. But then it's like, cool. Then you know, when you're like, no, I haven't chosen that. I've still stayed. This choice still feels like it's the right choice for me to try. Then you know that it's something that is really worth going for. You know, you're fortified in it.
Mm-hmm.
You're shaped. You know, so like, I don't know. If I could talk to my 20-something self, 30-something self, I'd be like, babe, like, it's a fucking journey. Like, allow yourself to go through all the multi-passionate things that you're doing. Allow yourself to go through all the experiences, because it's all informing truly the life that you authentically want to live.
Amazing. You just answered the last question.
Oh, did
Cool. Amazing. We're just on such a vibe that like this is, yeah, it was literally like if you could give your younger self 19 years old, 25 years, whatever it is, like just give yourself that little golden nugget of like what would you say? Like and you nailed it. It's like I wish someone could have like brought out a piece of paper and like showed me that like, okay, so, and I think it was, I don't know who does this, but like Bashar kind of describes like the journey of life, and it kind of goes, it's on this wave, but the wave is always actually going up. And so there are those down moments, but those down moments compared to the ones over here are far more like uplifted or elevated and stuff like that. And they're informed by the downs from before that made you stronger, more fortified human being to be like, no, I got this. Yes, this is a down. Yes, it is. But the 5 other downs in my life, this is like, I'm still going up. I'm still moving forward. And so I think that's incredible. Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah. I mean, it's true. So often we can feel like we're just running in place, you know? I know for me, for being a mom, like honestly, being a stay-at-home parent, that has like been a huge kind of mental and energetic leap for me that I've had to move through. Is like, God, I just want to just like devote myself to my creative projects. Doesn't mean I don't like absolutely love my kids, but like I didn't realize how much that fed into my soul until I didn't have the opportunity, like until all of my attention was taken away from it. You know? And so again, like allowing yourself, like there's going to be seasons of life and they're going to all inform you. Right. And it's so, yeah, I love that it's always like, you're like, it's always an uphill thing. And like, okay, I can buy that, Bashar. Okay. Even if it doesn't feel like that a lot of the time, you know? But if you just continue staying open to your own progress, I feel like so much of it is it's just that, even if it's just a tiny crack, even if you have 10 minutes a day to yourself, and it's like, okay, in that 10 minutes, I'm going to like feel into my heart and just be with myself and dance. Then like that. Oh, hi guys. Speaking of my children, they just walked in on our podcast. It's me, and that's my friend Carly.
Perfect illustration of what we were just talking about. So that's kind of beautiful.
Yeah.
So much for coming on Becoming Unbound and sharing your insight. It's been wonderful. I look forward to sharing this with our wonderful collaborative girl group that we've come together, and I love that we found each other. All right, Ash, well, thank you so much for coming on the podcast today. I hope everyone got a golden nugget of something for their life so that they can continue living their life unbound and go out there, get unbound, step into the unknown, and we'll see you on the next one. Thank you so much for having me and my surprise guest, my toddler. Thanks, Carly.